Game number 1, Division 2, everybody. Heroes launch as we are heading into Battlefield of Eternity, MMORPG. I'm not going to go through the entire thing. It's obviously an acronym, but there's a Murky in there. One of the M's is actually for Murky. So Avada, on the other hand, in red here, the guys are all Division 2 teams. Division 2 is oftentimes a bit of a mixed bag, so I'm not 100% certain what to expect here. But at least from a draft perspective, we normally get at least the... I mean, again, this isn't quite Division 1 or Division S, but it's still something where a lot of the teams have put a lot of thought into the drafts, and where heroes like Zeratul and Maiev are starting to become more of a concern than they are in the lower leagues when you're looking towards Division 7, for example. So at least the ban patterns that we see from most of the teams are still pretty much what you would expect on a higher level of play, where people kind of know what they're talking about here. Now, one of the things that you have to also understand at the same time is that there's 180 teams in Heroes launch this season. So obviously, personally, I'm not familiar with all of the intricacies of all of the players and what kind of preference picks they have. But when you are playing as one of the teams, you're obviously doing quite a bit more research for your next opponent as you're heading into this match. And therefore, there could be certain bans and also picks that just try and take tools away from your opponent because you know that they're prioritizing that when they can. So Ana banned out here, which leaves Tyrande obviously open. I mean, we are on Battlefield of Eternity, but we have actually an insta-pick into Diablo, which I find kind of interesting. So no Hanzo, no Tyrande, no Li Ming on the first pick, but instead Dibbles is taken. So that's already interesting setup. I mean, my head jumps immediately also to maybe Jaina already being taken, but the Tyrande pick would be a strong one here too. They take Hanzo already, which helps with the Immortal. But now on the side of MMORPG, we have the opportunity to go into Jaina, maybe Li Ming, plus a Tyrande. So it depends a bit on what kind of damage you want to play here. Both would fit. It depends a bit, do you want to go into a blow-up comp around Jaina with a burst damage on a stun target? Or are you more interested in the poke in general, especially around the objective? And they decide in favor of Li Ming, and I actually like that choice a lot. We've been going over the advantages that Li Ming presents in a setup like Battlefield of Eternity for a long time. The combo with Jaina, of course, is insanely strong too, but Li Ming definitely caters a little bit more to the battleground here at this point. So coming to the next bans, off lane is going to be another important one. Could also try and ban out Reyna. Yes, exactly, because Reyna can, with a penetrating round, still limit the movements of Garrosh nicely, once Garrosh is trying to make his way in and tries, of course, to get the flip over. Then on the other side, I mean, you still probably think about banning Jaina out on the opponent side now, but there's supports to be considered too. Offlaners are also taken into consideration right now. Wouldn't be surprised to see Thrall taken by one of the teams. Yep, there's a Jaina ban. Getting the burst damage out. Now Lisa still with heroes like Orphea. We've seen Gul'dan, not all that often, but still can be played. Horrify is still a great tool to have. Normally not really the map where you prioritize him though. But let's see what else they're gonna get. For now, I would still expect them to commit to the support. Probably could be Malfurion, getting the roots after flip-in. Rhaegar helps you a little bit more with the objective itself. Ooh, and Artanis! Now again, I'm always very, very doubtful of Artanis on Battlefield of Eternity, even though it is one of his best maps. But Artanis usually still falls short of the alternatives that exists on the offlane, even though with amateur opponent he puts a bit more pressure onto the Immortal. But that advantage pales most of the time in comparison to what other offlaners offer in general. Imperius and Genji now taken. And Imperius here, of course, another great hero to just set something up for Tyrande and for Li Ming. So we're having the lunge coming in after Diablo now as well. And with that, let's double check what Avada is gonna go for on their last pick. They still need damage and they go Medivh. Alright, Kupshi with a Medivh play here. And that brings us into game number 1. Battlefield of Eternity, ladies and gentlemen. MMORPG against Avada as we're heading into Bayui. Game number 1. The blue team on the left with Li Ming, played by Evilash. Izo on Genji. Dragon Slash on Diablo. Skynox on Imperius. And Philesis on Tyrande. And over on the right side for Avada, we're having Makil on Hanzo, Gockel on Artanis, Pocahontas on Malfurion. I always had the feeling that he identified as a pretty girl. The way he just keeps his hair up, you know, it's like kind of gives you that impression. There's a lot of that going on for him. Venko on Garrosh, and also, you know, just like dyeing the hair green all the time. Alfurin was always a bit of a weird one in my eyes. Kupshi on Medivh to round things up here as we are heading into the setup, and a little bit of a trap up to the top where currently Artanis is sitting and enjoying the freedom of the base, not really moving out too far, with Genji being in here. Interestingly enough, nobody guarding the fountain. That's usually a priority target for Genji players on Battlefield of Eternity to try and take that down. Don't see it in this game. Obviously down to the bottom of the map, Kupshi is going to try and get the extra damage in. Now this setup at the top hasn't really worked out yet for the blue team simply because Artanis moved back. But oftentimes you don't really have to take anything down in the sense of getting the kill against Artanis. If you just can get a little bit of damage onto the solo laner, that normally helps you already to give your own solo hero an advantage on that specific lane. Because your opponent has to tap the fountain a little bit quicker, and then you're in a decent spot there. We already have the scatter build used by, or built in by Hanzo, and we're having the amateur opponent now committed to. There's definitely a lot of potential here for that particular setup. Down to the bottom of the map, about 4 men is colliding, and a lot of this is going to come down to how Medivh is going to play this. Whenever we are seeing those heroes approached by either Diablo or Imperius later on through the stuns and then the follow-up from Tyrande, Medivh kinda has to be there. I mean, the portal is obviously needed, but also the force of will just to make sure that you're getting the additional shielding in and save the target from the burst damage that is surely going to come out outlining in that setup here. But up to the top lane now, with Genji having those quick rotations available to him. We're seeing them commit to the Khaldor camp. Normally when that's spotted out, you will see an immediate reaction from the opposing team on the other side of the map. And they're actually moving away from this. As Medivh moves in, they're saying, you know what, with amateur opponent and everything, we're actually going to take this right now. This is going to be a bit of a weird one. I don't think that Medivh has the power necessarily to really keep that together with Artanis, but they're going to try and make that play. Genji is still threatening Medivh here, and yeah, that camp is stolen away already. So that particular setup didn't really work out. At some point we just saw MMORPG looking at it as like, wait a second, there's only a Medivh? No one else came up? Then what are we doing backing off? Let them do all the hard work and then rotate in immediately and take that down. Okay, so down to the bottom of the map now. No camp taken, so this one is completely left alone. We're having no dominance, but the charged blast instead, so I'm probably not going to see as much aggression as we oftentimes do from Li Ming's when they're going for dominance plus calamity. Has to be a little bit safer, but has fantastic poke now around the objective, which is kind of what you want from Li Ming, obviously. Camp's taken on both sides, and it's immortal time, baby! We're going straight for it, because we're already having the kill approach against Imperius, and he is dead. First blood, the guy with the pitchfork immediately taken down here, and they're trying to make the play now for Genji too, and that was, for a moment, a little bit dicey for a little ninja here. Okay. And there we go. I mean, I feel like one of the most satisfying trailers that Blizzard ever had in their entire career was when they did the D.Va trailer, up to the point where D.Va appears. Because up to that point, it's just Diablo absolutely kicking the shit out of Genji, and everybody was cheering and everybody was happy, and then D.Va comes in to save the day. A little bit of a sad moment. It was really the time when Diablo just crushed Genji into the wall, and everybody was like, oh yeah, finally he gets what he deserves, and then D.Va comes in. It was a bit of a sad moment for most players out there, but... So, now we're having the Immortal taken from the red team, so we're seeing Avada with a bit of a lead there, making the plays for the team right now, and starting to go straight to the bot lane with the first Immortal. And of course, with all the damage against the Immortal they have, amateur opponent plus a level 4 here with the serrated arrows, they can easily force that down. It's more about team fights later on, and also the setup. That's going to be really important here from MMORPG. They need to try and use that properly to get the kills in. Already, Dibbles needs to be careful as the portal is enabling the opponent to move in a bit deeper, and with Garrosh, that's always a dangerous thing. If Garrosh is portal into the backline and can connect the throw, that is an issue. especially since he's always going to be able to move out simply because he has Indomitable on his level 4. That's going to be an important one. And top lane, we still have that little fight between Goggle and Skynox here. But these lunges will be followed up later on by damage from the rest of the team. Just so far as we're only having a 4-1 split, can't really do a whole lot with that. That's what we're waiting for when the next objective is up. For now, it's the red team pushing the advantage a little bit. Already sitting right there, starting to get the work done with level 7 talents in their hands, both of the teams, but Kupshi, 15 stacks so far for him. I mean, it's pretty important for Medivh that you keep yourself safe up to the point where you actually have your baseline completed. After that, it's a little bit easier if you actually fall, but for the time being, Kupshi would be well advised to just stay in the backline as much as he can. And there we go, gets a couple of additional hits in. Nicely done also against Li Ming. Evil Ash has to be cautious, pretty low. Might even have to be back. Yep, exactly. It doesn't have the fountain anymore. And that triggers an immediate response from the red team as they're saying, you know what? Khaldor camps, we're going to take that right now. We have the clear with Hanzo. No problem with that. So that's another camp pushing the bot lane and helping them to get even farther at XP. Loving the control here on the portal. Immediately as Garrosh moves through, he's greeted by a stun. That's a pretty shitty moment. Just imagine moving through a portal, that's the first thing that happens to you. You would be pretty pissed too. Probably an explanation why Garrosh is always looking so salty the entire time when you look at him. It's about level 10s at this point. It's about the second Immortal, and they are still pretty even in experience, but the red team has taken a slight lead at this point. So already, we're having at the bot lane the pressure continuing, and yeah, Hanzo completes his quest, so it's time to go for the Immortal now. And if they don't even rotate for it, they're just protecting the camp at the bottom. Garrosh gets pushed through, has the stun again, Indomitable has also been used, gets pushed in once more, and this time even the portal comes out, because they're realizing that Benko is in trouble, and I gotta admit, MMORRGG, they are actually doing solid work here. Nice! Oh my god! The frame-perfect jump from Hanzo, and even the little B-step right there. And for good reason. I mean, that was frame-perfect, him getting out of that position. Nicely done. But of course now, there comes the attack, and we have that poke available. Talking poke, Genji is eating a lot of that. 94 stacks on Diablo, as he's of course looking to complete that and get the hit point pulled together. 24 stacks on the baseline for Medivh as they're grabbing level 10, and that gives us the Polybomb. It also gives us 4 Malfurion. Well, nothing yet, but it definitely gives us the halftime show. Because they're just simply moving in and saying, boys, we got everything that we could hope for. We have Tannis in this game. That would make Trixler proud, and at the same time we're having also a fully stacked Hanzo at this point, so let's get the damage right in here. And yeah, they're gonna win this handily. Handily. There's just not enough pressure, even with Tyrande on the other sides. It was a little closer than I thought, to be honest. But still, 3,400 points on the shield, and that's already what you kind of need to do here. Alright, so we're gonna see the top lane now attacked, and this is actually where the wall is already gone, so this should be falling. We have only a single kill. This is actually pretty much what we had in both of the matches that we saw today. Very, very few kills at the start, and just later on a bit of a snowball happening. But at least in the early game, both of the teams being extremely cautious here and making sure that they're not getting dropped too quickly. Talking about getting dropped, we again have, Diablo gets thrown in, has the stun, and he's able to get away for now. Even Atanas committing to the ult here. I'm honestly not 100% certain what exactly he's really afraid of going into the suppression pulse here. I mean, I normally love that talent. Yeah, I guess we're curious there, but still. I would have probably gone for something else, just to zone out Tyrande or Li Ming a little bit more. Talking about Tyrande, she's in trouble. Yeah, that's the kill. Nicely played here. 31 stacks now for Medivh, still working on the baseline. That was a good kill against Tyrande, so they get the fort, they get a kill. With the bot lane, they're still working around this too, where they have Goggle in position against Skynox. The camp hasn't even been taken earlier, so it's still available, whereas the other one has already respawned. Top side now, more Khazra camps are taken. And when it comes to the damage output, I mean, Hanzo, he's just Hanzo. I kind of feel every time we look at damage, we should just discount Hanzo. He doesn't count there. That could be a throw. It is. Dibbles straight into the root, and Diablo is down. Nicely done. And even though Genji is trying to create a little bit of trouble, that's just not enough. Wrath also chosen as a level 10 on the side of Imperious. And I really like this setup with Medivh portaling Garrosh in, Garrosh getting the stuns, and Pocahontas is always sitting here ready to lay down the law and saying, alright, I got this, locks them down, and then the damage just simply comes through. They're really playing this quite nicely right now. I'm a little bit surprised actually that we don't see more of a setup around Wrath with Imperious. The problem is they're having him on the offlane the entire time, so he can't really do too much for the team. But with Wrath being used into a Tyrande stun, you normally have a lot of kill potential. And so far they just haven't been able to showcase that. And they are now in that weird spiral where you're starting to fall behind simply because you're not able to fight on even talents. And the Immortal is spawning in another 10. They're going for Diablo again. There's the stun and there's the kill. And that's 4 against 0 kills. That's another 4 down. There's them just absolutely dominating at this point. They just don't find an opening. Evil Asher and Li Ming is now also starting to run low on mana. That's another problem. Obviously, there's a bit of a defense happening. Could just simply go up to the top and try and grab this one now. And there's the Li Ming with very, very low mana considering the circumstances we're heading into this. So could have tapped maybe before that even too, but we have at least 13 in their hands. Might help a little bit. Now here comes the play against Skynox. The taunt and nearly the kill. And there it is. Kill comes through, delivery system not working this time. That's a post-made rating of 1 out of 5 stars, if at all. Delivery didn't arrive. Cooldown still got burned though. And also things that get burned, the Immortal got burned down to 50% within seconds, and they're just continuing that again. You have a Hanzo, you have a Tannis, and that is an easy one right there. Yep, and this is a big one. This is a big one at this point. Now we are talking about 17,000 HP shield. Yeah. 5 kills against 0, and that could be the first keep of the game. Avada is just rocking this at this point. So they are playing a pretty solid game. So far there were very few hiccups that they had. It's just controlled, it's disciplined, and they're making the play for Genji again. And barely miss out on this. I was honestly just waiting for the taunt. I was just waiting for the taunt here. Diablo's sitting at the side, but he's a bit of a kitten at this point. Doesn't really have the hit point pool. Sitting at only 18 stacks in the minions, so the soul stacks are definitely not there. That is one of the reasons why Garrus is immediately starting to walk to him. It's like, dude, if you want to brawl, just brawl. I'm here for you. I am absolutely here for you. Okay, wall is down. Catapult is still there. Immortal starts dishing out the damage. Goes into melee form now that the shield's gone. And here's the completion on Medivh's baseline, so he can be a bit more aggressive at this point, but also, of course, gets all of the benefits from that quest reward, and this is going to be the first keep. And trying to get another play in, but not for now. Goggle goes in, says like, nah, I kind of want to kill that fountain too. Can we get that? Alright, amazing. Okay. So now 5 kills versus 0, nearly level 16. It's one of those shitty moments for the blue team when you're like, we kind of want to get back, but they have an Immortal, we have to dive behind it, but we can't. Now they have 16. So they are falling from one bad spot into another. I feel the only thing they can realistically do is just play this slow and, well, not end up in fights like this one. There's the swap of Artanis as they're trying to go for the kill. Diablo gets taunted and polymorphed and goes down. That's the level 16 talent, and the blue team really doesn't want to fight yet. They really don't want to fight. Again, the quick portal, but this time not even used. You want to soak until 16 if you're the blue team. You want to just play it safe as you can, get the experience, give up the map to your opponent because you just can't contest it anyways right now. You need to have a proper 5-man with 16 talents, and that's going to be the last fighting chance that you have. So we're going to have a situation where MMORPG is going to move into the next Immortal fully aware that it's their last chance to come back into the game. And they still have that chance, and fight on even talents. If Diablo is able to get a couple of soul stacks together, that would be great for them. They have half a minute to soak the experience, and that itself is already going to be tricky. But they are going to be able to at least get something done here. I'm surprised that nobody takes care of the bot lane, but then again, they don't have vision, so it's really a problem if you're just moving out through. You don't want to take that fight though. And yeah, that can't happen. Okay, that's Diablo down, and that is a disaster. That is an absolute disaster for MMORPG. They needed to wait for 16 before they fight, and now it got pushed onto them. Now again, it is tricky if you have portals coming in on the other team, and then of course also the taunt there. It's very tricky to avoid a fight, and the combo with Medivh and Garrosh was always a dirty one, and it's getting proven again why exactly that is. So now we have 8 kills against 0, and this could very well end up being an immortal that has nearly 100% shields. So this is a problem, to say the least. Genji is sitting there and he's like, I want to kill something, but they're all full HP, I can't do anything. Yeah, and now he has to dodge Medivh. Medivh is actually chasing down Genji, and X strike. Is he gonna get the kill? Diablo saves him, but that's the end of Diablo. Oh god, that did not go well at all. Okay, so poor Genji and poor Diablo. It's more so poor Diablo than Genji, to be honest with you. I mean, I know there's a lot of people out there that would have loved Genji to die to Medivh right now, but as it happens, Dibbles is just sitting there. It's like, hey, I just came back. I could die again and save you, and Genji is taking that any day of the week, but obviously also committed to his ult before that. Now we have another kill coming in. Yep, this time against Imperial. Oh, Skynox. Nah, tennis. Yeah, he's got this. Well, he's not dead yet. They get the kill against Garrosh, and Skynox actually survives. Holy shit, he's able to stay in there. Garrosh is down, but so is Imperius. He's immediately getting punished by Artanis. How dare he take down Garrosh? and Artanis is actually going ham at this point. I mean, Artanis really wants the kills. Gets the one against Duranda. They're going for Diablo again. The Lord of Terror was terrified the entire game. He died 6 times in total, and now they're gonna go straight for the core. Genji again on the run, but this time he can't escape, and that is the lead. Avada taking the lead in the series against MMORPG here at Heroes Launch. GG, and well played. Game number 2. Avada with the lead, and a pretty significant at that. Well played here. Actually, like a lot of control in the last game, and they just snowballed that heavily. They, at the end of the match, at least lost one hero. I think it was the only one, right? The kill against Garrosh. Did he get another one? Not 100% certain. But yeah, Avada in the lead now. Infernal Shrines is the map, and MMORPG, they chose the map. Avada has first pick, first ban right now. So let's actually see how exactly this turns out. I mean, it opens up the map for a couple, or the draft for a few different heroes. You can play Gul'dan here, you could even play Kel'Thas depending on the situation. I've seen a couple of off-years every now and then. Johanna becomes a little bit better here too. Could play around the global as well if you really wanted to. I mean, Dehaka is a pick that we don't see on Infernal Shrines as often as we did in the past, but he's still good here and can be played. Urel, Leo, tough picks for the map as well. But with actually Mmmmrrrrggggllllbbbb and already Diablo being addressed, there's all of a sudden a chance that we're seeing, yes, either Maiev or Zeratul is going to be available for the draft here. Okay. This is gonna spice things up a little bit. And as the first pick and the first ban go to Avada, MMORPG now has to try and think about, okay, who would we rather face? With Diablo banned out, I would say ban out Maiev and allow Zeratul, and then take Jaina. You ban Maiev, if they want Zeratul, they can take Zeratul, and you get Jaina. And if they don't take any of that, you just take Zeratul and Jaina for yourself.
Anna checking in.
And with Anna checking in, I would say that is the time when you take Zeratul and Jaina. Or you take at least Jaina. Because if you don't pick any of the two, and in the next rotation they pick both, then you are screwed. Pretty heavily at that too. There's a Zeratul, there's a Jaina. Alright. Okay. Avada obviously knew this. I mean, if you are already looking at this particular setup, Avada knew really well that if they're going to make that play, there is a chance that Zeratul and Jaina get played, and they obviously are okay with it. So immediately the question comes, do you pick Tyrell here? Sanctification against the Void Prison setup with Ring of Frost is still great, so you can definitely do that too. if you have a good hero player. And they go Garrosh instead. And Hanzo. It's a good setup for them. The only question is really, can they deal with the Wombo? Can they deal with the Zeratul and Jaina setup here? That's the only thing that really is a question at this point. And we have seen teams do really well controlling Zeratul. So that's definitely true. But yeah, in terms of... another question is obviously what kind of support we're going to get. Normally you would say with this you either pick Malfurion or you go into Tyrande. Malfurion can still combo the root off with the Void Prison, and Tyrande, when she gets the stun in, can obviously help Jaina to get the kill too. So that doesn't even necessarily mean your hopes hinge on the Void Prison alone, but you can add a little bit more on top of that. The ban against Gul'dan. Yep, Malf gets banned out. That leaves Tyrande up for the taking. So Dragon Slash could take that, and there we have it. Tyrande locked down, and now you need to work on your front line. Jojo still up. Could play a Johanna here. Johanna would actually work quite well because you have the extra wave here. And there we go. Johanna gets taken. And what for Vada now? Let me take a look at that. I mean, you can still make the play around Leo. You could play Leoric here. And then you still want to have, of course, some extra damage. Junkrat hasn't been picked up yet either. So if you want to go, you can go for Junkrat. You could go for Leo with this. Try and reduce the damage output a little bit. Have the Buried Alive available after 20. So that would be one version. Reyna still in play too, but Junkrat has the extra poke from the outside. And they take Leo, but they go for Genji. So they're going to try and apply a little bit of pressure with him onto the backline. So it will, and Murky gets picked. Told you, one of the M's in MMORPG actually stands for Murky. So MMORPG says, you know what? We already have that bad boy in the name, so maybe we should just put all our trust into the Merc Lord himself. He mercs, he dies, he mercs again, and he has to show that now in Infernal Shrines as we are heading into game number 2. Alright, it's a little bit of a fishy lineup that we're seeing on the blue team as we are heading into game number 2 with MMORPG being down 1 game in the series. Izo on Zeratul, Dragon Slash on Johanna, Philesis on Tyrande, having Evilash on Jaina, and Skynox on the Merklord. Octograb into Ring of Frost. The Dream. Void Prison into March of the Murlocs, another one. On the right side of the map, Avada with Goggle on Leoric, Venko on Garrosh, Pocahontas on Ana this time. We're seeing Kupshi on Genji, and Makil on Hanzo. I mean, legitimately, at this point, what are you actually going for? Are you going for the March of the Murlocs on the Shrines, trying to use that, maybe top it off with the Void Prison as a setup? Are you going for the Octograb just simply because Jaina is in such a great spot that she can easily go for that too? Obviously, on the other side, you have still that Tyrande available, so you have to really think, is that really the play to make there? With the Celestial Attunement on level 7, that's always a huge nuisance when it comes to any kind of lockdown attempt that you're trying to go for. And as I said, I'm realizing that Tyrande is actually on that team and that the other team doesn't have a cleanse, so I'm a little bit of an idiot right now. And should probably drink more coffee, because apparently I'm asleep on the wheel here. So, either way, forget what I said, and with that in mind, that is even becoming more of an option. Both of them will work. Both of that would absolutely work. But yeah, Octograb for the insta-kill, March for the value of the AoE. We're gonna find out. Level 1, a fishy deal. Yeah, it already smells a little bit right here. So, with that, we're having, again, a move straight here for Leo up at the top lane. Izo is already on the move back down. We're going to see Zeratul rotate a lot. I mean, obviously, putting the pressure onto the solo lane is going to help Murky quite a bit. Having at the same time now still the move of Zeratul down to the bot lane, top lane. He's probably going to rotate around a lot outside of just simply going onto a lane for a quick cleave to provide a little bit of additional AoE. Down to the bottom of the map, we're still seeing Dragon Slash trying to take the experience on for his team. Fealty on the death is the level 1 talent here for Leo, so not going into Austin's Renewal or the Consume Vitality, which oftentimes get prioritized over the talent here. So he's already expecting to spend a lot of time in the minion waves, which is true in most of the lanes as well. You can always move out there. Murky, straight with a slime time. Alright, trying to focus on that for now and getting the stacks together here. We'll see how quickly he's going to be able to get that out. Murky in general is going to be an interesting hero as the game continues here. I'm actually really happy that we have Murky, because when I saw the name I was like, yeah, I kind of was teased with Murky already a few times in the past and it never really worked out. The only question that we're having at this point is, can they actually get some value out of the Murklord? Zeratul gets out of this. It was actually a nice invade, but it just came a little bit too late from Avada. But the coordination that we had from Avada in the last game was looking really, really good for them. The funny thing is, if we actually see the blue team win now, there is honestly a chance that Murky gets banned in game 3. That's always the case. You're looking at your opponent's lineup, you're thinking about what's the X factor here, what is the one thing that we had trouble dealing with, and if it's really a hero that you don't see too often, then you're always tempted to ban that out. So if they win, there's a chance that there's a Murky respect ban. You don't see that all too often. But yeah, let's see how this is gonna go. So now we're talking about the Shrine, and it's a 4 versus 4 setup, since everybody else is still up at the top lane. Murky currently trying to hold that for as long as he can, and Leoric hasn't made a move towards the bottom of the map either. And the blue team is actually starting to get ahead here, since they have a lot of AoEs through Johanna, Zeratul, and Jaina. Murky then again is starting to have a little bit of trouble topside. Still alive though against Goggle down at the bottom of the map. Genji's starting to make his play, but a little bit too aggressive. Oh, goes down, and Zeratul survives. Nicely done. The kill is in. And they're starting to focus back onto the Shrine. In that 3 versus 4 setup bot side, they have a really good chance of actually completing this. They've been making the play for Garrosh now, and Garrosh is about to fall. Ooh, Garrosh down. Nice. And that's the level 7, where we immediately get the slippery when wet. Captain Obvious wants his talent back. So talking about this. But yeah, there's also the Punisher taken. Frozen Punishers on the way, and Murky is murking between the mid lane and the top lane. But this is actually starting to become a pretty interesting game, not only because we're seeing the Murky action in here, but also Izo is absolutely delivering on Zeratul so far. I mean, he's done really well. He has been pretty close to dying a few times, but then again, if you think about it, he was always just living the life on the edge here, with the ability to move out of harm's way just as it became dicey, and he got the kills in. And that might be one of the... I mean, honestly, if he continues playing like this, then I think we are moving from a potential Murky ban really quickly to another Zeratul ban. That was the one X-Factor play when we looked at the draft, that all of a sudden you see either Maiev or Zeratul being led through, and I feel the decision to not ban out Zeratul from MMORPG was so far a good one. If you can't deliver on the same level in the later stage of the game, then whew, Avada is going to be in for a world of pain. Experience down at the bottom of the map gets caught by Zeratul now as well. 12 stacks for Murky on the level 4. And the top lane has been pretty much playing their own game. I mean, these guys have just been sitting there the entire time, trying to just like outmaneuver each other as much as they can, but not really committed to anything else. And with now level 10 being close, I want to see what Murky takes. Honestly, both of it would be absolutely viable here. And, I mean, for Octograb, you still have a little bit that you can work with. I mean, Ana has at least her 13 that she can work with, but it's not quite as much of a nuisance as when you're playing against Duranda for the others, on the other side. So, yeah, against Ana, you can definitely make that play. But I just want to, like, in my head, just having the Void Prison into the Ring of Frost, into the March of the Murlocs would just be absolutely insane and ridiculous. And they are going for it. The March of the Murlocs, the Blessed Shield, the Void Prison, and the Ring of Frost. This is going to be pretty good. If they can actually set that up in one of the Shrine fights, that would be absolutely hilarious to get that set up. So yeah, Murky is sitting at 18 stacks here already as well. Alright. So is able to slime Leoric up a lot, which is actually kind of funny because it's Genital Leoric. So you would actually assume that he's pretty clean and able to keep things fresh, but it's not quite the case. It's a little bit of a slimy situation that he's facing. And Murky is actually starting to move in and steals that away. Leo, did he not see Murky? Was it actually out of vision range? But yeah. Steals that away, easy peasy. Eye of Horrors on the other side has been taken too. And I also kind of like that Murky is currently riding the Golden Cock. Now, again, if you are moving in with Murky, the money pick is always welcome, but you can also just go for this particular round. It's always playing. Talking wave clear. You actually should be, yep, 46,000 on the wave clear. Now Leo has a little bit more with 64k, but Murky's also topping the damage charts. He hasn't even been part of the bot lane fight, but because he's stacking the damage against Leoric the entire time, he's actually starting to get the work done here and has 9,800 damage already. Yeah, I hope that no Blizzard employee is watching this right now, or Murky is gonna get nerfed in the next patch for sure. Zeratul again. Oh boy. Void Prison is there, and that's gonna be an insta-kill. Yeah, goodbye Hanzo. Hanzo is dead, and here come the Murlocs, baby! And the slows are in. They get the slows against Garrosh. Murlocs are already zoning them out here. I was hoping for a little bit more value than that, but again, just seeing Murlocs running across the screen already makes me happy, Panda, so that counts. Okay, with that, we're having immediately Leoric moving to the top side. Hanzo is back. He could throw the arrow out if he wanted to. But so far they're not making the engage, and they're so far behind when it comes to the objective stacks. It's unlikely that they're going to make that play in the first place. Now, of course, with heroic abilities, all off cooldown, on cooldown, that is starting to become very unlikely that we're going to see a big commitment here anytime soon. But yeah, there comes the vision. Again, trying to burn that down. Johanna has the blessed shield in a moment again. Murky is already working on the next camp here. And yeah, needs to get the stacks going a little bit after moving away from the top lane. That has already slowed down. Oh, the blessed shield gets negated. As does the Tyrannus stun by the Indomitable. That's a 2-for-1 trade right there. Well done by him. And, well, with this, we're having now also the 13 talents in. Of course, the first 4 falls in the process. Rejuvenating Bubble. Alright, Murky wants to be that pest that he is and just be super annoying. Hanzo takes aim, gets a shot in. But this game has been pretty one-sided if you think about it. It's 3 kills against 0. It's 2 of the Punishers already won by the blue team. It's pretty much the reversal of what we've seen in the other game. And what has changed? I wonder what has changed. I think it's that Tannis isn't picked and Murky was. Has nothing to do with this strategy. No, nothing. It's all about the fish. Alright, so they're starting to pressure the bot lane. But of course now we have at least 13 talents on both sides, so that's a chance for Avada to make their way back into this. They're gonna try and look for the fight here. Especially of course around the next objective. Skynox is now also in a position where he can finally get a bit more stacks on his level 4 together, because he's facing off against Leoric again, so now we're sitting at 22 stacks for him. Currently, down to the bottom of the map, we're having, again, another camp taken. Zeratul is interrupting Leo again, gets a bit more damage in against him, keeps him on his toes, slows also the rotation slightly down, and keeps him busy. So I really gotta give a bit of a shout out here to Ezo as he's trying to go in again for his Garrosh. Has the throw, but also the stun. Indomitable had to be burned once more. Damage output. We're still seeing Jaina taking over, but Murky is already nipping on her heels when it comes to the main damage. Still holding at least the siege damage for the team. Not quite on the same level as we're seeing. Uh-oh. Yeah, this time he actually sniffed it out. Okay, this time Leo is not losing control of the camp. This time he looks at it and saying like, no, wait a second. That's our camp. We're not gonna steal that away again. The bubble is keeping Skynox in play. It is a weird game. It's really one of those games where Avada is just looking at it and is like, okay, so we kind of have to adjust a little bit. This isn't quite working out the way we were hoping for, especially with the Genji pick. They were obviously hoping also to get a little bit of the setup here against Murky himself. There's the invade. They go for the stun. Arrow comes out. No Ring of Frost just now, but then the Murlocs are coming in. And there's a lot of them. Anna is already getting hugged by them real quickly. Look at Hanzo. Look at Hanzo here. Half HP just because he's running into the Murlocs at this point. So they are able to steal the camp away. But again, they burned tons of cooldowns. The only one they didn't commit it to was Jaina's Ring of Frost, so they still have that available. But Murky has taken top damage again. Murky is sitting at 18,000. The Murloc value right there. March is delivering. Okay. 16 now also in their hands, and it's another one of these situations where you're on the side on Avada when you're just saying like, guys, we kind of want to fight, but we don't have the talent. And I don't mean their skill, I mean the 16 talent. So they need to try and get that, and that's why Genji's rotating bot side. The rest of the team is waiting and saying like, dude, can you just simply please like get that experience at the bot lane? And he's like, I need healing. And they're like, we don't give a fuck about you needing healing, just give us the experience, dude, because without it, we can't fight that battle and we're gonna lose another Punisher. And that's obviously what MMORPG knows too, which is why they're immediately going in and trying to get the massive lead right there. Now, Genji's now on the way, but the more important part, so is Murky. And as I'm saying it, I'm actually realizing I'm lying, because he's moving bot side instead. 10 seconds for the VP to come up, and Murky is gonna bribe another camp, and he's probably... No, he's actually not ready with it. Oh, they're fighting a 4 vs 5 in the top lane. Ring comes out, but so's the arrow. Jaina is low and actually gets away as the Eye of Horus is still delivering. Zeratul gets stunned out. Oh my god! The Void Prison to save Zeratul, but the pitch perfect blink just as the swipe comes in. Yep, that's the end of Jaina. The problem with that is that at the bot lane and the mid lane, we're having now camps and catapults starting to push the lanes because Murky is just sitting there and is just murking away. So yeah, that is going to cost them quite a few structures. And at the top side, this isn't quite done yet. I mean, Zeratul with a great move here. I actually love this from Iso. He already anticipated, I mean rightfully so, that someone had to rotate to deal with that situation. So he was just waiting in the shadows for the rotation to happen and dropped Leo down to less than half HP. Murky takes another camp. It's massive pressure on the map. But then again, Avada is taking the Punisher. Avada is taking the Punisher right now as Murky has the fish oil. So gets, and also is about to complete his level 4 talent, by the way, just saying. Bot lane, nearly one turret being destroyed here in the mid lane. We've also seen the damage applied. Murky is sitting at the side right now, places the egg, and can now also get the side value with the March. Here comes the stun, and that's a bubble. God, I hate Murky. Just watching it makes me angry. Oh, playing against it, it's even worse. It's just like, you get the stun in, everything's fine, and then he bubbles it, and there comes the March, and they have to immediately disengage. They can't fight here. Like, this thing doesn't get anything done. They went through the fort, and that's it. The side flank march of the Murlocs just absolutely destroys the setup. They're sitting there and saying like, guys, we have a Punisher, let's go for the keep. Murky goes in, then they have to abandon the attack. Talking Murky though, he might be in a bit of trouble here. The egg got already taken out. Murky's still on the run. The problem is Garrosh is also in trouble. Void Prison, Jaina is too far away. Can't drop the ring. Oh, she gets the ring in, and that's the kill. Garrosh is down, Zeratul falls, but still a great effort from Zeratul here. Murky is also dead. He has the egg placed down at the bottom left already. They're still making the play for Jaina herself, and that's a double kill as we speak. Starting to head straight back into the battle as Murky is trying to be the savior of the fight, but his egg gets found out and gets taken apart. Yeah, now he's waddling away, and Leo is thinking about that Entomb. I guarantee you that. Leo is sitting there, and he has all the Merc hate in his heart at this point, and is thinking about just dropping the Entomb and just saying, screw you. But the bubble is always a risk. Vision provided from Hanzo, they know where the egg is, and they also took down the fountain because of this. They've done a great game, actually. MMORPG has played a pretty decent game, but now we're starting to see Avada making the comeback into it. Now, from a structural perspective, the blue team is still ahead, don't get me wrong. But still, this is starting to become a bit difficult. Jaina has also by now taken over the main damage. Still 100,000 siege damage on the side of Murky, as he's waddling up to the top lane again. Obviously also holds the numbers here in experience. But yeah, it's all about the Wombo setup again. We actually haven't, with the last two Void Prisons, seen a single Ring of Frost. Every single time Jaina was just zoned out. Actually, it's not quite true. She dropped the Ring of Frost in the last one, and they were able, with the help of Zeratul, to get the kill against Garrosh. So, my bad. But we've seen a few of the setups that didn't quite work the way that they intended to. Now Zeratul, okay, gets away from it. Jumps away for now. Neza's been doing really well. I mean, 22,000 damage on him. Now that they're heading into level 20, of course means that we're also seeing the talents here taken. Big Tuna Kahuna! Alright. With that, we're going to have him in a really, really annoying spot again. I mean, Murky is just a hero that pisses you off. Shadow Mending taken on level 20 now. So, yep, that is an interesting one. That actually enables Zeratul to be a lot more aggressive in the entire setup here, and so far they've been trying to focus on him the entire time. So if he drops that, that's going to be fantastic for him. And, yeah, that particular one is also going to be interesting. I mean, if you are in a spot where you just can't, you're a lot more beefier all of a sudden in that situation, and if Murky can be a bit more aggressive in this as well, as this is self-sustain comes in from Zeratul too, plus in addition to that also the blinded by the light here, then all of a sudden you have to deal with a guy like he's a real hero. I'm a real boy now! Skynox is going to have some fun with this. And they have all of the cooldowns ready for the Wombo, and with the next shrine spawning bot side, this could be a game-deciding one as well. So if you're heading straight into that at the bottom of the map, I mean, there's still a fountain there, and that's a big issue. They destroyed the one in the middle, but they haven't taken down the one at the bottom of the map, so there's still a fallback option for MMORPG when they're trying to move in for it. They will have to deal with a level 20 on the other side now as well, though. So that's a bit of a problem. This is definitely one of the issues that they have. If you're talking about the red team, I mean, apparently the problem is that Ana dropped. But if you're just looking at this, not only Ana, actually the entire team seem to have dropped. Like, wow, 3 of them. Look at that. Garrosh, Genji, and Ana. 3 brothers or something? I'm not quite sure. Let's have a check out on Leo. Now Goggle is still in. And they're back to business. All right. But as I was about to say, the red team is going to have their 20, and they're getting access to it now. So it's just in time for the shrine. And that's the important part. So now they have the Buried Alive, they have Deadeye, they have in addition to that also the Dragon Becomes Me, so that's going to be super important too. So that alone are already 3 highly important talents. Murky has, by the way, still not completed his quest here. So that would be great for them to have even more control over this. You're starting to move in, and Murky is just murking. Murky is pushing in and makes sure that that keep is going to suffer at least some damage, with the catapult already taking aim. And now starting to move in and flanking from the back with the March of the Murlocs. Ana in trouble, but so is Zeratul. He's down, the Ring of Frost connecting though. And still trouble for the blue team here, as the March didn't quite do as much as they were hoping for. Ana still in trouble, as we're seeing Murky trying to hunt her down here. Pocahontas is about to fall, but so is Jaina. Jaina dead. Murky is moving away, completes his level 4, but they are now down to 3 heroes here. Zeratul hit by the Buried Alive and then eliminated before he could even use the Void Prison. Mid lane has taken damage, and Murky is immediately on the job again, trying to pressure the keep even more. Top side, massive damage coming in from the camp that they just took previously. And here's Murky, trying to do as much as he can against Goggle alone. They know that they're going to lose the Punisher. They know that they can't deal with that right now. The only question is, can they do a little bit more damage over here? Murky, oh, gets stopped before he can make the move back. But down at the bottom of the map, it's only 3 heroes attacking. Only 3 of them. And of course the Punisher itself. And they're already starting to burn that down a bit. But the top wall has partly fallen. The one in the middle, the keep, has taken damage too. That catapult is still an issue, but Goggle is dealing with it, which also means that at least 1 hero is missing for the attack here. So it looks like Avada won't be able to finish the game here. They shouldn't be able to get these kills just now. It's a good bait over the wall again, and Murky still ready. There's also a Void Prison to consider, don't forget about that. Yeah, Leoric is making his way back into this, but with the Punisher already nearly done, they're not even going to get a keep. The arrow goes far and wide, didn't hit anything here. And now if Zeratul finds a Void Prison, they can still take that. Currently doesn't look like it, but he is still sharking around here and thinking about it at least. But they're deciding against it, at least for the time being. But this game is still wide open. This game is still absolutely wide open, as we are seeing both of the teams trying to decide for Inferno Shrines in their favor. And yeah, with that said, now let's take a look at the numbers here again. 42,000 for Jaina, 43,000 for Hanzo. Murky is going to start moving onto the lanes again. Get some extra damage done here. He's already moving into the camp, and this is a dicey spot to fight for Avada. That Void Prison is a problem. You can't just stack up in that choke point against the Void Prison and the Ring of Frost. That's very likely going to be bad news for them. So it's just camps that they're currently trying to take. Murky just being a nuisance here. Just moving across the map, trying to take a couple of additional minion waves of the opponent out so that they can push those waves more and maybe even get extra damage in against the structures. That forces the team to defend and create space on the map for the rest of the team. And they got the combo up. The Hanzo arrow is also back to business. Murky already moving in again. Has the stacks, gets them. Ooh, what a call! Clutch steal. Clutch steal. And they're pressuring every single lane at this point. The blue team has really managed to put Avada onto the back foot here. Murky is pushing topside. As they are pushing middle, Murky is pushing top. It's not going to get too much done here. But if they just take a tower every single time that they're pushing these lanes in, that's all that they need to do. And just look at the fort in the mid lane. They keep in the mid lane. It's already it's less than 50% HP on that thing. I mean, obviously, you're more so concerned about the next shrine too. And the problem is with Murky also being gone the entire time. If these guys are forced into the fight at some point, they will have to fight it without Murky, and that is going to be an issue. I never thought that I would say that sentence. But Murky is currently taking the camp at the top lane. So that's going to create additional lane pressure. And they're already moving into a position to maybe get a kill if someone moves into the bush here. So Murky is pretty much being played like... It feels a bit like playing against Samura at this point. You always have to have someone on duty to just like push that out, and he can just simply snipe structures or go and take any kind of minion wave down within seconds. Look at Johanna with all the wave clear that they have. They're getting Johanna down to the bot lane, they're pushing that out, they have a catapult there, they're moving into the middle again. And we have Murky already starting to get in position, and with a big Tuna Kahuna, he's not just easily killed. Even with a stun setup, you just can't burst him down that quickly anymore. And they're gonna go for March eventually. He's gonna flank it at the side, gonna set the March up, and yep, there we go. March comes in, and it connects beautifully. Look at Garrosh. Look at Garrosh just getting murdered here. Ana keeps him alive for a long time, but that definitely hurt. And they're zoning them out from the shrine. Easy peasy. Bot lane will be pressured by the catapult. The question is for how long. But the ult without the upgrade is at this point already over. And that's a cooldown that they don't have anymore. They still look at the Void Prison though. They have the Void Prison ready whenever they see that setup. Look at Zeratul. Zeratul is waiting for it. He sees it. He goes for it. And he has it. They kill the Auric, and now it's just about Jaina. Can she be there in time? Not quite. But they got the kill. They got the kill against Leo, but here comes the arrow, the ring. And it does connect with at least one. Garrosh is down, killed by Murky himself. And Zeratul gets the kill against Genji. Ana is dead too. And they are making the call. They stay with the objective for now. They have Murky moving up to the top. Zeratul is also moving in. That should be a kill. Yes, it connects, and that is Hanzo down. Nothing more satisfying than seeing both Shimada brothers die a painful and horrible death. Both of them down, and that means that the keep in the mid lane is gone, and that very likely is going to be gamed. The Arcane Punisher is moving in, and that's not the only thing. They're already on the move and starting to jump straight in for it. Starting to take it down, and it looks like the Merc Lord is going to have a 100% win rate in this series. Murky with a victory here. Zeratul play again to be highlighted. And that is going to be game number 3 that we're looking at, ladies and gentlemen. Tannis in game number 1, Murky in game number 2. We are looking at a highlight here with MMORPG going up against Avada in game number 3. Coming up next. Game number 3. The Merc Master has won the day, and now the question is who wins this series. We're all of a sudden going into game number 3, ladies and gentlemen. And I don't know, we've seen it all at this point. We've seen Artanis, we've seen Murky. The only question is, what are we going to get in game number 3? Chat has already made suggestions. Trixler wanted to have Ragnaros with Lava Wave. Chat always wants Cho'Gall, so that was another one. But are we getting any of that? That's the main question here right now. And is Murky gonna get banned? That's another. First of all, we have Diablo being banned out, and I would still suggest that probably banning out Zeratul would be a good idea too, since Murky aside, Zeratul has done a pretty decent job in the last one. So with Tomb of the Spider Queen being the map, I don't know, ever since I casted Meta Madness and seen Stalk on Stitches, I always want to see the Hungry for More Stitches on Tomb of the Spider Queen again. The control of all those globes is just crazy, and having 9 to 10... We have it again! We're gonna see Zeratul or Maiev open. One of the two is open again. Avada can choose this time. Do they ban Zeratul after they just seen Zeratul and leave Maiev open? They actually ban Ana. They're saying like, you can take one, we take the other. They're saying, well, you're welcome to take one of the two, we take the other one. And there she is. Maiev taken this time from Izo. Doesn't get a Zeratul this time, but I would be shocked if Zeratul is not being picked by Avada now. I mean, then again, you're not gonna play Maiev and Zeratul, right? So if you don't pick Zeratul at this point, then it's probably gonna be banned out later. So you don't have to. Yes, and there comes Jaina and Malfurion. So this is pretty much gonna force the hand of MMORPG to actually ban out Zeratul in the next rotation. They're not gonna go for both of them. But now that we're seeing this, I mean, I'm just thinking, March of the Murlocs into a cage of Maiev. Again, I'm not sure if that's really gonna happen here. I doubt it a bit, to be fair. Gul'dan again and Tyrande have been picked. Gul'dan obviously getting the added value on the map because of the wave clear. Has an easier time stacking also on the level 1, so that he gets the aggro corruption. With the bans coming out, is Avada actually gonna do it? I don't think so, right? Like, you don't do it. Yeah, they ban EDC. Oh, it would have been fantastic if they banned Murky here, though. Despite the fact that I don't really expect him to be played now. But yeah, what do we ban on the other side? Is it the Zeratul ban? Do they risk Zeratul getting through now? Is Jaina and Malfurion already picked? Nah, they don't. They ban Zeratul out. They're saying like, that's not something that we really want to risk. Okay, so time for the picks. I mean, you still need a front line. Johanna is great because of the wave clear that she offers on the map. With ETC, Anuburak, Diablo, and Garrosh banned out. Definitely a great hero. Stitches as well. With everything that's been banned and both of the teams not having a frontliner yet, I could totally see Stitches to make it into the game. There's also Imperius to consider. They actually go for Murden. Huh. Over that setup. Okay. And we have a Tracer. We have an actual Tracer in play. Okay. How is MMORPG going direct to this now? You could play Jimmy. I mean, if you want to have auto attacks, I don't think you're going to go for the hammer time here. But Jimmy with auto attacks against Tracer would still be decent. Together with Tyrande here. Front line. Thrall and Tyrael. Alright, Thrall and Tyrael locked down by them. And now for Avada on the last pick, so this time no crazy shenanigans here. Unless Avada wants to go for it. Are they going to drop a Tacita in there? I kind of doubt that. Offlaner, of course, still needed here. A little bit more wave clear would be nice too, considering what they have. And we get Imperius. Alright, so now we have Imperius in together with Murden. A lot of lockdown. Malfurion can follow up on it. Jaina can get the damage in the bomb too. Tomb of the Spider Queen, ladies and gentlemen. Game number 3 between MMORPG and Avada. Heading straight into it here as Heroes launch. The series comes to its conclusion on Tomb of the Spider Queen. On the left side, here in Division 2 of Heroes launch, MMORPG with Izo on Maiev, Felicis on Tyrande, Dragon Slash on Tyrael, Skynox on Thrall, and Evilash on Gul'dan. And on the right side of the map, Avada, successful in game number 1, but then the fish, the frog, turned out to be a little bit too much on Infernal Shrines. We have Goggle on Imperius, Mankil on Jaina, Venko on Murden, Pocahontas on Malfurion, and Kupshi on Tracer. Tracer, I mean, there's a couple of elements to the draft that we see for the red team that are quite important here. First of all, you have a bit of a blow-up comp around 2 frontliners plus Malfurion and Jaina. But then in addition to that, you have also Tracer, who can not only add to that damage output with a quick bonk whenever a hero is targeted, but at the same time can also make her individual plays against pretty much everybody on that lineup. Now, one of the X factors in this game is definitely Maiev, and we have to consider her quite a bit, so we need to keep our eye out for all of those Maiev plays. With that said, bot lane is going to be Imperius against Thrall. Imperius in general is super strong. Can be played as the main tank, can be played as the offlaner. Already the tether. Big stun coming out. And this is really one of the problems. The Maiev stun, obviously, after any kind of engage here, can be pretty crucial. And you don't really have a lot of CC on the side of your frontliner with Tyrael, but you have those shields, you have a lot of mobility to dive the backline too. And then it comes down to the tethers, to the frost wolves that are going to be thrown out by Thrall. And obviously on top of that, the Tyrannus done to follow all of it up and really prepare the kills for your team. So at the top side, the rotation between the four men is happening now to try and get a bit of dominance around turning point 2. And even the shields from Tyrael trying to slow that down as much as he can. We're still seeing that one-on-one setup with Thrall and Imperius down at the bottom of the map. Imperius is faring pretty well there thus far. 6 stacks on the other hand on the Echo of Elements. Echo Corruption also sitting at 6 right now. Kupshi is still darting around here quite easily, but this is really one of those games where it can quickly snowball. It's still interesting for me that we're seeing Murdered over Johanna, given the map. Here comes the damage output against Tyrael. That was a good one too. It didn't take him down, but definitely made him a lot more cautious, reapproaching that fight. So yeah, the wave clear comes mainly from Jaina. Jaina definitely has the wave clear, Imperius has some of it too, but it's still a bit interesting to me that they still decided to go for Murden despite the fact that Johanna was open, because she is definitely a hero that could have added a bit more wave clear to the lineup that they have right now. They're currently not quite in a situation where I feel they can keep up with Mmmmrrrggggllllbbbb here, at least in the later stages. 13 stacks now for Thrall as he's trying to get the second charge on the Chain Lightning. Also, 5 stacks already for Murder, which isn't too bad to be honest. I mean, on the baseline, this is pretty good for him this early in the game. Gets another one, and well, with a lockdown, this is actually likely going to be the end of Izo, yeah? Maiev goes down, Kupshi gets the kill in, and that was really well played by them. Maiev is usually an elusive one that is not easy to lock down, but they are able to get the kill here, so job well done by Avada. And that's also the first blood in the game. Mark Hill a little bit low, but Morfurion is going to take care of that in a second. Well, actually, as I say, he needs to take care of Tracer too. Both of them starting to fall a little bit low there. 17 stacks by now for Thrall. Soon going to be done with this. When you look at the turn-ins, 23 versus 9 gems have so far been handled. And there's the completion. 3 minutes and 14 seconds in. Kupshi goes in, there's the lockdown, and that's a death Thrall. That's a ton of gems already lost. That's a problem. That's a big problem at that. That was a great setup here. And I love Imperius. Honestly, if it comes to hero releases, Imperius, when it comes to the last half year, I would say is one of the best, if not the best hero release that we had from Blizzard. It's one that is a lot of fun to watch, a lot of fun to play, and it feels very rewarding, and even watching him just feels awesome. So that hero with a great setup here for Kupshi was a good kill. And that is a massive problem for Mmmmrrrggggllllbbbb. Let's not sugarcoat this. Losing this many gems in the early game is a problem. So for now, we're having at the bottom of the map still that little fight between the two of them. 49 turned in. Very likely going to get this completed now by Kupshi. And yep, that's the deal right there. That's level 7 talents also in their hands. And we're already gonna see them starting to push here a little bit more. That... yeah, Tracer can't fall, but that backfired quickly. That's not what Maiev had in mind. Not at all. I was like, huh, she's low, I can get her. Well, guess again. It doesn't quite work out. It was one of those moments when all of a sudden you're looking at the screen, you're like, mistakes were made. Baited. Masterfully baited by Kupshi. So yeah, with that we're having the massive pressure through the mid lane. I mean, not only do you have the web weavers everywhere right now, you're also looking at a setup where you're having the power to push through that mid lane while still getting value topside. Yep, the wall is already broken through. At the bottom of the map we are seeing Imperius with the exact same impact. Needs to be a bit careful as Skynox is starting to get more aggressive, but that might even deliver the fountain. And yeah, that fountain is going to fall. Fountain down, top lane is also taking lots of damage. I mean, another fountain already taken apart. Really well done here. I mean, this is actually really solid what we're currently seeing from Avada. These guys are snowballing it hard. They will get that first fort. That's honestly nuts. 3 kills against 0, a level ahead after the first turn in alone, killing Thrall and a few others to really, reveal, like take a lot of the gems away from the blue team, and they are in a fantastic position right now. 14 stacks for Murden, who's sitting in a good spot now too, and this is starting to get really weird. I mean, once you have 10, you can at least try and threaten heroes like Tracer with a well-placed Horrify. And of course, if you have a fantastic Tracer player against you, simply going to try and just recall that. But still, at this point, it's trouble. And my F throwing the shadow out there, they're just sitting there as like, well, girl, if you want to take it, let's go for it. We are ready for you. We already shown you twice, but if you wanted a little bit of damage, if you want another death, be our guest. And there's a level 10 abilities, which now means that you're getting an easy second turn in if you want it, and they're already starting to deliver the gems again. Water Elemental this time, to control especially my F a little bit more during these fights. And yeah, no Wrath, but we have the armament for Imperius. And the bot lane already gets pressured. I mean, look at Skynox. He's just sitting there as like, guys, I can't really do anything. They're getting free damage onto the fort, but what do you want me to do? There's the interrupts up at the top. Can't do anything against that either. So with level 10 on the board, this is the moment where they can just simply turn in. And that goes mostly for Imperius. They're already trying to get another kill against my F, and she can't dodge out on that. That's another 15 gems lost. That's 15 gems again down the drain. They haven't gotten a turn in yet, and things are just getting worse. Look at Skynox at the bot lane. He holds 16 gems too. If Tracer makes a rotation down there, he might fall. Frostwolf Resilience keeps him in play, but this is going to be the completed turn in by Goggle, and they're going to get another Webweaver wave, and this one is going to hurt even more. I mean, just look at the map right now. They are getting massive value even without the Webweavers. They're already obliterating the fort in the mid lane. At the bottom of the map, Imperius is pushing it out through. We have at least 10 versus 10 right now, but they're already moving away here. Hyrule is a little bit far out and has to jump back on Ildrunes, but things are not looking good for MMORPG at all. They need to try and get some kills here, and they need to do that soon. Horrify would be a great tool to use that. They have a containment disc as well for the setup, so at least now they can fight back, but it's going to be tough, I'm not going to lie here. Now, fort is about to be broken down. That's the case. Thrall is still desperately trying to hold on to the one at the bottom for as long as he can, but eventually this one is going to go down too. And he needs to be careful because he still holds the gems and they're making the play for him. Stormball connects, and that's good by Thrall. There's the lunge, there's the kill, and that's 23 gone. The Horrify back here has done nothing against Malfurion. Absolutely nothing. Zilch, zip, 0. And there's another Stormbolt, and that's even more gems down. Well, he's trying to get them. And he's actually recovering them, so Gul'dan gets all of them. But still, 6 kills against 0. This is an absolute disaster for MMORPG at this point. No Murky, no win. This is what we're learning right now. No Murky, no win. Could be the Zeratul. It could be the Murky. So, this is the wall down. All forts eliminated. 6 kills against 0. 2 levels ahead nearly. Make it 1.5. And that will be a talent advantage now too. They don't have enough gems for another turn in, so that's at least a moment where MMORPG can just take a deep breath. They have the gems to at least get a turn in for themselves. Khaldor resistant on level 7, by the way, for the blue team. Like, I don't know, on the one hand, I can absolutely understand why you take the talent. You have Jaina and you have the pulse bomb from Tracer against you. And then again, I see 2 stuns, 2 massive stuns, slows from Jaina, and a big root from Malfurion on the other side. And everything in my head just screams Celestial Attunement. So it's a bit of a weird one for me right now. I mean, on the one hand, yes, I can see why the talent was chosen. On the other, it all centers a lot around those stacked CCs that we're seeing from Avada. So not having the Celestial Attunement makes it hard to dodge that. That's a perfect example right there. But they have the Sundering in play. They're using that immediately. Sanctification on the ground. Muradin this time is a bit low though. Here comes the Horrify. Can they go for Tracer? Doesn't look like it. No, Muradin is also getting out of this one. But I can tell you, doesn't Gul'dan. He's down, and so is Tyrande. The stun connects. Tyrande is down. Muradin jumps away with 150 hit points and actually survives this. Broccoli is still attempting to chase my F down. But this is 14 against 12, 8 kills against 0, and more gems to be turned in. And obviously they're making the play for the boss now too. Yeah, they have the double kill. They can go for the boss. There's no 13 talent on the other side. It's a 5 versus 3 at this point on the map. Why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you go, boss? Well, 20,000 damage for Tracer. We're seeing 29,000 for Khaldor, but that doesn't change anything. Thrall has 19,000, but if it doesn't equate to kills at the end of the day, what are you going to do with that? The blue web weavers are descending now, which pretty much only means that MMORPG just traded their gems for an easy boss defense. That's all that this means at this point. Containment disc, as Kupshi is again on the run. Might have to go a little bit deeper here. Another Stormbolt connects, and Muradin is done with his quest. 11 minutes into the game. Yeah, so the boss defense at the top, as already mentioned before, is an easy peasy one because the web weavers went down, but the web weavers are not going to get a lot of damage. So this is obviously the deliberate trade at this point. You know that you're not going to get anything done with the web weavers, but you know that you're going to have an easy boss defense if you get them. They push the lanes out a little bit, you get a bit of wiggle room on that end, but you're still 2 levels behind. But with level 13 talents now on both sides, you might be able to force a fight. The problem is that we are seeing Avada already so far ahead that the 16 is so close that that window to force the fight is incredibly small and pretty much non-existent, and they can't make a play here. The danger is now that a level 16 talent push will come with another web weaver turn-in on the side of the red team. And yes, they have the gems, actually one short, which you obviously will get in a moment. And they also have the talent now, and that is just terrifying. So, yeah, how do you react as a blue team? To be honest, at this point, you're just praying to a god that you don't really believe in. And you get the Siege Giant Camp. That's kind of what you're trying to do here. So, Dragon Slash still sitting here, trying to see if maybe someone rotates so that he knows that a little bit earlier. We already have the camp moving away here. But it is tricky now. There's a camp taken, and now they're going to turn in. And they're going to try and time that with a camp and maybe move through the middle. Who has the gems, by the way? Ah, up at the top. That's 12. Right there. That's more than enough. And then you move through the middle with this. That is actually a dirty push. Look how they are not even taking them down immediately. They could have taken them down a little bit faster. I would have waited even a bit longer, to be honest, so that the web weavers can make it fully in before this one is taken down, because now there's a chance that it actually doesn't even survive. Alright, there comes the push. Bot lane, Siege Giant camps are going to take care of the web weavers to an extent, but here in the middle we're already seeing the push continue with a spell aura. And they're starting to make the play. Web Weaver comes in. Oh no, that's the end of Tyrael. No, Sanctification was interrupted first. Gets a little bit of trade value, but even that isn't enough. And now they're getting a second kill. Maiev is dead. Oh god, Thrall is dead too. This could be game. This could be game right here. 11 kills against 0. Avada is absolutely murdering Game 3 now. Game 2, big setback for them. But now in Game 3, without Murky here, without the X Factor, they are just absolutely destroying. It's a reckoning as we are seeing the core starting to fall. Everybody else is still darting around here. The bomb comes out again from Tracer as they're going straight in. The core is on 50% on the other hand. Once more, they're waiting for the heroes to come back. Tyrael is in business and can drop the Sanctification, but it doesn't even matter anymore. The core is down to 10, and that is gonna be game. Avada takes the victory on Tomb of the Spider Queen and therefore decides the best of 3 in Division 2 in their favor with a 2-1 victory.